Hello and welcome to Sports Fan Entertainment here for my NFL Week 14 picks and predictions. Last week, I went 10-5 straight up, and I went 4-1 for my guarantees, bringing me to an impressive 132-58 straight up, and then 28-22 for my guarantees. I'm loving this. Right now I'm making money for my guarantees. I'm doing very well straight up. I'm currently 5th in my SFE Pick'em Challenge on ESPN out of over 100 people in the group. We're doing well. Let's continue doing well in NFL Week 14, where we begin not with the Thursday night football game because I missed that game, but I did pick the Rams. You can see that in my SFE Pick'em Challenge. But instead, with the Dallas Cowboys at the Cincinnati Bengals. Who is excited for this? Okay, who dey? Okay, no one's excited for this game. However, I still have to pick it. Give me the Dallas Cowboys to win this game here. They've shown signs of life recently, whereas the Bengals without Joe Burrow, it's just hard to find them actually winning a game. It's hard to believe that at this point. So give me the Cowboys as Andy Dalton and Zeke. They got some things going against the Vikings for a little bit. They looked decent against the Washington football team before everything went to hell. Give me the Cowboys here, but trust me, I'm not super confident in this game or this team. We move on to the next game. We have the Kansas City Chiefs at the Miami Dolphins, and the Chiefs continue to win these very close games. They continue to let these teams hang around in games. Last week, the Denver Broncos, we've seen them do the same thing with the Panthers recently. 4 straight games now, they've won by less than a touchdown, these dominant Kansas City Chiefs. And now they travel to Miami, where the Miami Dolphins are 8-4, where Tua Tagovailoa still hasn't thrown an interception despite everyone wanting to criticize him. He has 7 touchdowns, 0 interceptions on the season. I think he's playing all right. The Dolphins defense has been playing pretty damn well. They're going to give the Chiefs some problems in this game, and they ultimately could upset, but I think they're going to do the same thing again, do just enough to win. Now, people are convinced they're going to continue and ride this wave all the way to the Super Bowl, but I smell an upset coming not only soon, but I think in the playoffs as well. I got them losing soon, and in the playoffs too, to go 14-2 the regular season, maybe 13-3 if they lose that Week 17 game because it won't matter. And then in the playoffs, I don't have the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl right now like everyone else, because I think they're sleeping too much to me right now. Give me the Chiefs to win this game, but I think people are not taking seriously the fact that the Chiefs are letting these teams hang around. We move on to the next game, and the Houston Texans at the Chicago Bears. The Texans, since firing Bill O'Brien, have been playing much better. Who could have imagined this? Whereas the Chicago Bears, remember Bears fans, in the beginning of the season, they didn't understand MJ. They're like, MJ, why are you picking against us every week? You hate us. And I was like, okay. Let's just sit back, let's wait, because I'm telling you, the Chicago Bears are frauds, okay? They had frauds written all over them. Everyone wanted to ignore it. Okay, we can ignore it. Well, now we can't, as they've lost 6 straight games. It doesn't matter who their starting quarterback is, Nicholas Foles, Mitchell Trubisky, they can't buy a win. And with all that said, I have them getting a win against the Houston Texans because the Texans are still not a strong team. Yeah, they're playing better. They're still not a strong team. Recently having the suspensions to Will Fuller and to Bradley Roby, that's hurt their team. And now I don't think they're going to be able to put up enough offense against this very desperate Bears defense. So give me the Bears to win this one of the few games, if any, that they might win to finish the season off. But I told you from the start, the Bears are frauds, and frauds they have proven to be. Thank you. We move on to the next game. We have the Denver Broncos at the Carolina Panthers, a battle of 2 4-8 teams that no one cares about, except for people that are fans of either one of these two teams. And funny enough, this was a Super Bowl a couple of 5 years ago. So how about that? How time flies. Give me Carolina. I don't really want to pick either one of these teams. I guess you can argue the Broncos have looked a little better, but finally they're awoken. They understand now that Drew Lock is not the answer. He's never been the answer. But they finally get it. They're moving on. They're already starting to plan on what quarterback they want to target next year. Panthers starting to awaken themselves and say, this Teddy Bridgewater, I don't know about this guy. So I don't think either one of these teams want to win this game because you're looking at the upcoming NFL draft. And you're looking at the Jaguars and the Jets obviously going to target Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields. Depending on which one has the number one pick, the other one's probably going to get Justin Fields. Who's going to get the third quarterback? Right now, people are saying Zach Wilson out of BYU. We'll see. Could be Trey Lance. Could be someone else because I'm not really convinced about either one of those guys. Someone before the Broncos or Panthers potentially, but it could also be the Broncos or Panthers. And then the other one of the Broncos or Panthers may still want a quarterback. So I don't know if either one of these teams really wants to win this game right now, but give me the Panthers to win regardless. We move on to the next game here. The Arizona Cardinals at the New York Giants. Man, the Cardinals, they have just been struggling lately. Even if you look back to their last two wins, I want to say these are the last two wins. One was certainly the DeAndre Hopkins catch against the Buffalo Bills. They should have lost that game. That was a Hail Mary, an incredible throw and catch, but a game that, come on, you should have lost the game. You got a little lucky there. And then, a great comeback and a very battle-tested victory against the Seattle Seahawks. But, that's it. Outside of that, losses for the Cardinals lately since a very strong start to the season. They need this game. The Giants have been playing much better. The Giants have, had a resurgence here. The Giants are now, tied with the Washington football team, at least, for control of the NFC East, which is still really bad, but looking like, hey, they might have a 7-win team. Wow! Out of the NFC East this year. So that's fun. Give me the Cardinals here. I just think, first, the talent disparity is still there. It's been there all season long. The Cardinals have fallen. They can't get up. They need to get a bloody win, and this should be it. And the Giants, although, yes, they're playing better. They're ascending. I think they won now 3 or 4 straight games. I just think they're still not quite good enough to beat the Cardinals, even at home. Move on to the next game. We have the Tennessee Titans at the Jacksonville Jaguars. Titans had a horrible performance last week against the Browns. This is their move. They then show up this week in competitive fashion against the Jaguars and beat up the Jaguars. We've seen them do this for the last 2 years. This is their move. Bad performance in the previous game. Oh, we're facing the Jaguars now. Now let's run all over them with Derrick Henry. This could be another 200-yard performance. I wouldn't be surprised at all. Jaguars, Mike Glennon, seriously, get out of here. Give the Tennessee Titans to win this game in Jacksonville. Moving on to the next game, we have the Minnesota Vikings at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And the Buccaneers, people want to hate on the Buccaneers. They're 7-5. I'm like, well, what record did you expect? First of all, I had them 11-5, and they could still get it because they don't face the Saints again. They could win out, and they could start here. So I'm not really surprised that the Bucs are barely above 500. I had them 11-5 or 10-6. I didn't think they were going to be a 13-3 team. A lot of people thought. They're still, getting their chemistry together and whatnot since the damn season started. I don't know why people are surprised. Whereas the Vikings, the Bears were frauds. The Vikings, their bad start to the season, we knew that wasn't legitimate. We knew the Vikings weren't that bad. And then all of a sudden, wow, they're 500. They're 6-6. They have their season on the line, actually, in this game because they can still make the playoffs. If they win out, they could absolutely still make the playoffs in the NFC. But the Bucs just feel a little bit more desperate. They've been the better team all season long. They have the better defense at this point, and mostly the better offense, I'll say. So give me the Bucs to win the game here, but it's going to be competitive. And if the Bucs lose this one, then I'll be concerned because now the Vikings are definitely back in the picture. They'll have a tiebreaker with the Buccaneers, and the records will be tied. So that'll be problematic, but the Buccaneers can create some separation here and make themselves more solidified in the wild card spot in the NFC. Moving on to the next game. We have the New York Jets at the Seattle Seahawks. Why are we wasting time on the Jets? They're figuring out ways to lose. My God. Firstly, you had Nelson Aguilar drop the game-winning touchdown. The safeties were actually out. That wasn't a cover zero, but the safeties just said, oh, snap. Nelson Aguilar just passed me. And then he dropped, Derek Carr overthrew Nelson Aguilar. And then they just say, okay, this time let's just do no safeties. And then Henry Ruggs beats them on the left side. Raiders win the game in late fashion. The Jets don't care about winning games, so why should I care about them? Seahawks. Moving on to the next game. The Indianapolis Colts at the Las Vegas Raiders. And I don't know what got into the Raiders last week, but, I don't know. They, again, against the Jets, I don't know how you compete against that team. The Patriots did a little bit, but it doesn't make sense. It just seems like they can't compete against anyone except for, the Kansas City Chiefs for some reason. Colts have been looking better. Colts, they're up and down. I mean, they definitely had their bad loss against the Tennessee Titans, but they've had strong wins like against the Green Bay Packers this week. So I think the Colts have been more consistent this season. I think that continues, giving the Indianapolis Colts to win this game in Las Vegas. Moving on to the next game, we have the Green Bay Packers at the Detroit Lions. And the Lions looked better. They won the game last week against the Bears. I didn't think that they could or that they would, and they did. So they definitely appear to be more motivated now that Matt Patricia is out of the building. Okay, so this is promising. But, this is a team that historically has such great problems against Green Bay, against Aaron Rodgers. I just always feel uncomfortable picking the Lions against the Packers. I just don't do it, especially in a season like this where the Packers are Super contenders and the Lions are anything but. Give me the Green Bay Packers to win this game, but the Lions will compete a little bit, so you'll have something to hold on to there. Move on to the next game. We have the Atlanta Falcons at the Los Angeles Chargers, and the Chargers. I mean, 45-0. I mean, what the hell was that? So poorly coached. Anthony Lynn has lost this team, but he hasn't lost his job. So as a result, I had to pick the Falcons to win this game because they already moved on to their new coach, Raheem Morris, who has been giving them much more motivation, giving them much more reason to compete week to week. And the Chargers don't have it. And I think they'll put up points against the Falcons defense because almost everyone puts up points against the Falcons defense. But ultimately, give me the Falcons to win this game in LA. We move on to the next game. We have the New Orleans Saints at the Philadelphia Eagles, where Carson Wentz has been benched. We will be getting Jalen Hurts in this one. How about that? Eagles fans have been begging for this, clamoring for this, and I still believe, maybe foolishly, that Carson Wentz can re-solidify himself as a starting quarterback in the future, save his career, revitalize his career. May not be in Philadelphia, but I still believe he has the talent to do so. But for right now, there's no way in hell I can pick, the Eagles to win right now until I see it, and not against the New Orleans Saints, who are still winning games with this Taysom Hill, giving the Saints to win this one. But I think it will be close, and I think it will be interesting late. We move on to the next game. We have the Washington football team at the San Francisco 49ers, and more, and all of a sudden, I can't hate on the Washington football team. The football team defeated the undefeated Pittsburgh Steelers last week. They're looking more and more impressive. Alex Smith, his leg is bleeding. Not the leg that he, ripped everything to shreds, but his leg's bleeding. He's still going out. He's making throws. He's winning games. Logan Thomas, the former Virginia Tech quarterback, is looking like a real tight end in this league. And Ron Rivera is getting more out of this defense. Interesting. And now they face the 49ers, where Nick Mullins is Nick Mullins. And they've lost their magic and their luster. And yeah, they were able to upset the Rams a couple weeks ago, but wasn't too impressed with their performance against the Buffalo Bills last week, albeit a very better team than the Washington football team. Give me Washington. They just upset Pittsburgh. They can upset the 49ers with all the things that have been going on this season with them. It's going to be close. It's going to be interesting. But I like Washington in this scenario. We move on to the next one. We have the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Buffalo Bills. Bills coming off of a strong win, and the Steelers coming off of their first loss of the season. And we all knew that the Steelers were not a particularly strong 11-0 team. Some would argue the worst 11-0 team ever. We knew this. But they're still strong, and I still trust late in the game Ben Roethlisberger more than I do Josh Allen, for the most part. Although Josh Allen has had some decent late game performances, he shouldn't have lost that game against Arizona Cardinals this season. Give me the Steelers. I think after last week's game, it's going to snap them into this game. People are, doubting us. People are thinking that we're frauds. They can't afford to lose this game because the Kansas City Chiefs are right there with them. That bye week is still up for grabs. So give me the Steelers here, but it's going to be close and it's going to be fun and it's going to be interesting. Moving on to the next game, we have the Baltimore Ravens at the Cleveland Browns. And look, I know the Browns kicked my favorite team's ass last week in the Tennessee Titans. It was a very impressive win. Not buying it. Our defense stinks. I'm on the record saying that. Everyone knows that. This isn't a secret. The Ravens have everything on the line. I mean, 10-6, I don't think is going to get you in the playoffs for one or two teams in the AFC. And I think they understand that. I think they're about to run the table. Honestly, I really see that right now for the Ravens, and I think it continues in this game. Although they're facing the Cowboys, I liked how they looked last week coming off all their COVID-19 nonsense, and I think they put the Browns in their place once again, 23-17. And with that, so we move on to my guarantees of the week. These are my betting picks of the week, and we begin with the Arizona Cardinals -3. You know what? I think they're going to come out and beat the Giants for the entire season. Even before the season, we have believed that the Arizona Cardinals are significantly better than the New York Giants. We've believed this. Now, the Giants have gotten a little better, Cardinals a little worse, but has the difference truly been made up at this point? No, let's not overreact. Give me the Cardinals. Give me the Minnesota Vikings plus 6.5. So I'm going out on a limb here, but I think they're going to compete with the Bucs. They might upset the Bucs. You give me 6.5 points, you give me a touchdown, I'll take the touchdown. I'll take it all day long when Dalvin Cook is there. Indianapolis Colts -3. I think they're beating the Raiders. I don't like the Raiders right now. And I haven't liked them for most of the season anyway. And, you know, they've been better than I thought they'd be overall in the season out that they're, I guess, like 7-5, right? But still not enough for me to quite buy into them. So do give me right now, the Indianapolis Colts to beat them and cover the 3 points. The Atlanta Falcons -2. I think they go out and I think that they win their game. 2 points, that's not too bad. I'll take that all day. Give me Washington +3. Now, this one's bold, okay? Because, you know, you're talking about the Washington football team. After a big win against the Steelers, they might be a little less motivated. But the way they're playing right now, I think they have the confidence. 49ers, you know, again, they beat the Rams recently, but that was a divisional opponent. They knew them well. They don't know the Washington football team too well. Give me the Washington football team +3, and then Ravens -2.5. So we have 6 guarantees this week, but I like all of these, and I think we're definitely going to hit on at least 4 of these and make a little more moolah. So with that said, those are my NFL Week 14 picks and predictions. What are your picks and predictions? Comment down below. I want to know. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, and most importantly, to subscribe. And until next time, this has been MJ of Sports Fan Entertainment. I'm out. See you all later.